3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I've been recording here for a minute too, so we're good.
This probably shouldn't go in, but he says he's had people come to him and say, like, I was going to kill myself. But instead, my friend said, hey, come hang out at this show. And I heard all my favorite songs, and I danced, and I realized life was worth living. And a cover band saved my life.
No,
Are we sure?
so
Are you sure we're better off with that life in the world?
That's dark.
Maybe it should have ended. If that's the bar for survival, we are fucked.
I'm just not ready to leave a world that has Journey songs in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, even though I could go literally see Journey minus lead singer.
But that's how I realized that I was
fair.
just a small town girl living in what was indeed a lonely world.
indeed.
I took a midnight train.
You ever think about, here's one. Before that song was that song, it was just a song that somebody wrote, and they're in like a rehearsal space working on Don't Stop Believing. Do you think that, like, like, holy fucking shit, you guys, this is Don't Stop Believing? Or do you think it's just like, oh, it's a song. We'll work on this song.
Steve wrote another piece of fucking garbage, I guess we got to play.
It's not so good. I mean, it's no Love and Touch and Squeezing, but it's pretty good.
Separate Ways is the best Journey song.
They got good songs, man.
Yeah, they do.
I love that ripping guitar part
Dude.
that goes nowhere. Like, why is it even there? But I love it.
Separate Ways, though. The video immediately makes that the greatest Journey song.
You ever see some of those like super coked out Kenny Loggins music videos from back in the day?
Man, did they move paper. Man, did they move records.
They move paper. 80s
Yacht
music
Rock.
videos
Have
are
you
the
seen the
best.
Yacht Rock YouTube series?
No.
There's like 8 episodes, and one of them is Jason Lee playing Kevin Bacon. And he's like, can I get a BLT sandwich? That's like one of many, many amazing jokes. It's all from this guy. He calls himself Hollywood Steve, who apparently was like tied into a lot of the yacht rock bands. They show these parodies of how the band came up with these just horribly weird lyrics, and it's so funny.
It's always cocaine. Every time I think about Yacht Rock, though, I just hear Dennis
What a
Reynolds.
fool believes.
Oh, yeah.
There's one he's like, come on, Michael, that's what a fool believes. And also he's like, and then they show him like working on a keyboard, and all of a sudden they're all in the studio. What a fool believes. It's so fucking great.
I just hear Dennis Reynolds going, I own all Steve Winwood's shit.
Yes, dude, I own all of it. All of it. Oh my God. And we're off.
That's for you, Bumblebee.
Episode 12 has kicked off with a bang already. I thought we had again triple digit viewers and listeners last week. That is the 3rd out of 4 weeks that we've had over 100 people listen to our rambling willfully.
Well, so far as we know.
That's true. Well, maybe there is somebody who's being held hostage and saying, you're going to watch that fucking podcast.
You'll watch it again.
You're going to watch it again.
I know you don't like it. That's the point.
Before we dive into, well, we could do 2 things. We could do Packers Minute, which I don't have much
Let's
today.
start it happy.
We'll start it happy. Should we do?
I had a thought exercise regarding the Packers that I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Mm-hmm. You do it now if you want.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I'll edit it.
Press the thing.
Beep, 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 beep.
We should change it to just a toilet flushing.
Oh, we
to
totally
intro
should.
the Packers Minute.
should
Okay,
be.
so it's bad, and we know that it's bad, and even the moments that were good usually depended on the Commanders doing something dumb,
Right.
That we capitalized on. Mm-hmm. Like, and again, I think Stokes got screwed on a thing that would have led to a thing.
Yep.
But again, still, the thing it would have led to was the result of the Commanders making a mistake. Anyways, Tori and I were taking a walk today, and I was wondering to myself and to her, let's say that they don't win again. Mm-hmm. Let's say they go, 3-14, and just it's gross. It's terribly bad. Like it's already kind of bad. Like the Commanders beat them.
Yeah.
And let's say the Lions beat them. Mm-hmm. I could see that being a positive because it will finally, hopefully, really like shake some stuff up. And they're always this kind of like middling. Well, they made the championship, whatever, Mm-hmm. So they get a pass on a lot of bad stuff. My question to you guys was, if that happened hypothetically, and forget about contracts and all that stuff, if as a result of that happening, the Packers were able to and desirous to trade away Aaron Rodgers and just be done with it, do you think anyone would want him?
The way he's playing now?
Yeah.
No.
You don't think the history of him being Aaron Rodgers would be enough for like...
Let me rephrase that. Some owner who wants to sell a shit ton of tickets will definitely do it.
Okay.
Just
That's
like
true.
Denver traded a shitload for an aging Peyton Manning when his arm was really not there anymore.
But they got results.
They did.
Yeah.
They did, but it's pretty rare. He had an excellent supporting cast. He bought into his system. He had a running game to lean on.
Speaking of Denver, oh my God. Can I tell you what made me feel old as shit? Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Big deal. Ed McCaffrey's kid.
Yeah. Did you not know that?
No. But that means a human man who I was a fan of while I was alive had a kid who became old enough to also play that sport. I'm so fucking old.
You want to hear something else? You know who their starting cornerback is? Patrick Surtain Jr.
Oh.
His dad, all-pro
Yeah,
quarterback
yeah.
for the Ravens.
Shucks. It's happening.
It's happening, man.
So you think just because the name recognition and we'd move a shitload of jerseys and maybe finally, and it would be a struggling team down on their luck.
Yeah, it would. Somebody probably would. Although I don't think they would get as much.
Say like the Colts, who today announced that they have benched Matt Ryan and are going with some guy.
If contracts are thrown out,
And Jim Irsay has more money than God. So
well,
he can,
it doesn't matter about his money. It's on the cap.
I
Has to make sense.
suppose. Yeah. But what do you think? You think someone would take him, or do you think if they lose out the rest of the year and all the off the field shit, do you think it's possible that Rodgers has just like totally kickboxed his reputation and his legacy and it's over?
I honestly don't know how to answer that question. I don't know who is going. There's always the chance, but I don't know how other coaches react to having a quarterback that is uncoachable. Like, are they going to take that risk?
And
Depends on-
you know now for sure that if you don't have top shelf receivers, he's probably of no use to you at all. And
Well, here's the thing. There are at least 30 other quarterbacks who are better than him right now.
agreed. And even let's say like Tom Brady is in a similar, if not worse, situation. But I would be less surprised if Brady turned it around than I would be if Rodgers just went on a 10-game run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I
That
don't know.
shot of him just laying face down in the dirt, like, my God, and all the super exaggerated. What are we doing? What are we doing?
He's always done that shit though.
I know,
Even when
but
they're
like,
winning.
it feels a little performative to me. It feels like I know this is going to get shown, and it's going to lead to the narrative that like it's not totally my fault.
Well,
I don't have any receivers.
You know what it is? He's a spoiled brat. And he's been enabled by the entire organization to do whatever the fuck he wants because they wanted to avoid PR nightmare. And you trade the PR nightmare of trading Hall of Fame Aaron Rodgers after last year, and you take it in the pants for a couple of years and you develop, or you let his right arm fall off, which appears to be happening now.
And
Then now you're stuck with a huge cap number for the next 2 years. You've crippled your entire team in your cap. So now you've got probably a 3-year window where you're rebuilding versus trading him this offseason and having maybe 1 year.
And it's not just his arm. I think like
It's his head too.
it's his head, but like he's missing reads, and like he's going to the flat when there's like a wide open guy 30 yards out. And it made me wonder, like watching the game and then watching, because like towards the second half of the game, the announcers started pointing out like these are not good throws. These are not, and it made me wonder if like for a quarterback, if there's two kinds of like washed. If like you get washed in the arm, and you get kind of washed in the mind where you've had literal like broken bones and concussions and you're getting old. And I think he's a little bit like scared. Like he's playing kind of timidly, and I think that's some of the reason for the bad throws. Because no matter what, he should be able to stick a 10-yard pass.
I think he played timid. He appeared to play timid last week because their left tackle got pulled the day before.
Yeah.
So they had to change their strategy to get the ball out quick. But other than that, all that guy wants to do is play fucking hero ball. He wants to chuck it deep and make the big throws.
But you don't have the gas.
Right. But whatever Aaron wants.
Like he's hitting people in the feet on routes that I think like Troy Aikman probably could hit still.
I could hit.
Yeah. Like there's a 10-yard pass.
Literally today.
Yeah.
I threw a pass to Fox.
Right.
That was between two trees with a window like this. I'm like, buddy, I'm going to throw it between these two trees. And he's like, okay. 10 yards away.
Fox drops it and Zim goes, what the fuck are we doing?
What the fuck are we doing? Fuck.
Give me some kids that can catch a ball. God.
Christ. It has to be perfect. Oh, you fucking priss. Anyway. And like, I absolutely have defended Aaron Rodgers for a while. I was done with it after the last season. And I'm just fucking done with it now because it is all about him. It's all about his stats. It's all about, well, the offense has to run through me. And it's like, that's the fucking problem. Maybe eat some humble pie. Here's a suggestion for Aaron Rodgers. When you're taking your next ayahuasca trip, maybe set the intention of, what the fuck happened to me? What the fuck happened to my arm? And why can I not see that the best player in this entire team that gives us the best chance for my legacy to win is the guy wearing the number 33? I don't know. He doesn't need a best friend. He needs a fucking Mike Holmgren to say, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
Like he used to say to Favre, like, hey, no more rocket balls, please. Right. No, we're done. Like, you think LaFleur's ever going to, hey, Aaron, hey, buddy. Well, I mean, the Packers' entire team needs a heart transplant at this point because there's none there. And it all starts with the quarterback and coach, like catering to this, everything has to be perfect mentality. And then these guys are overthinking every little thing, trying not to screw up, and by default are screwing up. And it's like, I don't know. It's disappointing. But at the same time, I'm more disappointed in the fact that we are now 3 years in cap hell because we went all in again, and we probably should have cut bait.
Yep.
That's what sucks. Here's something cool that I wanted to talk to you about. We had an excellent show on Saturday.
That was fun.
Super fun.
Easy Honey from Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Good dudes. Nice dudes.
I was just going to say, like, that was going to be a point. Like, we play with a lot of bands, and boy, it is...
Bad ones.
And some fucking bad ones. But when the good ones are good, and then they're also total sweethearts, it's even better. Those guys are just a bunch of sweethearts.
Nice
like,
dudes.
Really talented, good. They write really good songs, great arrangements, and they're super nice
really
guys.
like tasteful playing.
Yeah.
Like they sounded really like dialed in. And
yeah. You can tell that they jive really well and have been probably writing together for a while. But anyway,
like
shout
I
out to
said, they
them.
want to
They're
do more
awesome.
shows together. So
Yeah.
That's cool. And you know, shout out to Appleton Beer Factory for feeding us some very, very tasty food.
Yes. Yes, I had the hummus veggie wrap, which was fucking delicious.
I had the pulled pork with the coleslaw.
Yeah.
Good way to do it.
It's good. Recommend.
And honestly, I'm uber impressed with their ability to put on really, really good shows, charge a cover charge, and people show up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think people realize how difficult that is for the drunk crowd in Appleton to want to pay money that doesn't go towards immediate drunkenness and put it towards a band that's coming from out of town or people who do it for a living. So shout out to them for being like, no, we're always going to charge a cover because we need to pay these bands, and people fucking show up.
Yeah. And that's why it sounds good in there too, because they put money into that. They pay Levi to do sound.
Yep. They are doing it right. So super, super big ups to those guys because they've got some really cool shit going.
We played that show as a trio.
We did play it as a trio.
Because our dear sweet Mr. Caleb was down Chicago way doing some choke business, including a limited edition choke burger at Kumas.
At Kumas.
Have you been to Kumas?
I have not been to Kumas.
Okay, because me and Caleb have gone a handful of times, but I think those were shows that maybe Chris filled in on the bass. And oof, it's good. So I was happy for them to get that But it was our first show ever as a 3-piece.
Yep.
And the three of us, me, you, and Gracie, were talking about how pretty much all of our other bands had always been trios.
Yeah.
And I was thinking today, like when you're a kid, it's kind of a miracle to just meet two other people that like what you like and play the right instruments. And that, like,
Yeah.
when I was a kid, if I could meet a bass player and a drummer, I was like a act of God. The idea of trying to find another guitar player and a keyboard player and whatever. Like the fact that there was a ska band in my high school still blows my mind. There's fucking 80 you guys, and you're all friends and you all play. Damn. Like, but it got me to thinking that how some of my favorite bands of all time are trios. Like, I was like the punk band, like Alkaline Trio and that kind of stuff. And then like Stray Cats are a big deal for me. And, you know, just a few, like the Police. And I was wondering if you guys, and I'm springing this on you now, if you have favorite trios.
Number one for me is Nirvana.
Are they a trio?
Yep.
You think?
Yeah, they started out as a trio. They hired Pat later when they went on tour.
Yeah.
But they wrote everything, did everything, and were started and founded as a 3-piece band.
That's true. That's a good one. Anyone else?
Let me just take a quick take. Oh, obviously Rush.
I always forget that they're a trio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like they would be.
No.
Nirvana sticks out.
Foo Fighters were a trio for a hot minute. There's Nothing Left to Lose era. Foo Fighters was a 3-piece.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Were they?
Mm-hmm. And then for that, they made There's Nothing Left to Lose as a trio. And if you listen back to that record, you can hear it.
Oh.
There's not a ton of like solos and that kind of thing.
Oh.
And then they added Shiflet to the
Later.
band like midway through that tour.
Later. I'm looking at this.
That was the first Taylor record as
Green
well.
Day.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean, those two in the era of which I grew up
Yeah,
were
that's
like
undeniable.
like for me, it was like, why the fuck would we want a 4-piece band? All of my favorite bands are 3-piece bands.
Right.
Like, Nirvana, Green Day.
And this was at a time too where like the guitar solo was kind of looked down on.
Yeah.
You know what? Because it was just coming out of like the 80s hair metal. Yeah. We don't want fucking guitar solos.
I didn't know Silverchair was a 3-piece.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But they don't feel like they were a 3-piece.
They don't.
Like they added all kinds of stuff in the studio and then they supplemented it. Like there's a band called Biffy Clyro that I love and they're a 3-piece. But on stage there's an extra guitar and a keyboard.
Oh.
So like
Jawbreaker.
Oh. Yeah.
3-piece.
Yep.
Those are, I mean, honestly, between, man, what a fucking tour that would have been. Jawbreaker, Nirvana in 93 and 94 when they went on tour.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
That would have been a doozy.
Stick it in my veins.
Well.
Been beautiful. Well, don't say, maybe not. Maybe bad analogy.
It's
for
a
that group.
little poor taste. It's funny though how much and I mean maybe you could make some kind of shitty joke about the quality of the music, but like punk adjacent stuff seems to lend itself to the trio.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have any?
Green Day was on there, and MXPX was a big one for me back in the day.
They were a big one too because that was like they weren't even really like a Christian band, but somehow they were on Tooth and Nail, and so you could buy the Christian bookstore. So my parents would like let it slide.
They were also on Live Fest, and
Le Fest.
The Fest.
Le Fest. Is that what you guys called it? Le Fest?
Le Fest. Live Fest.
One of the craziest fucking after parties that I ever was a part of was after Life Fest with one of the bands that was I'm like, holy sh.
What band?
I don't want to say.
Oh, okay.
MXPX is pretty good. What was the name of that album? Not The Way of the Buffalo.
Ever Passing Moment?
Was that the one?
Life in General?
I think it was Ever Passing Moment that I really like. What one came out in 99? One after Chick Magnet.
Let's Google it.
After Chick Magnet was slowly going the way of the Buffalo.
That's the one. Okay.
Like the
I really
brownish cover. Yeah. There was an era of MXPX where I was very, very, very into it. Like a 3 or 4 album run that I thought was so good and probably still holds up, you know?
Yeah, once they hit, let's see. Let's look at their discography.
Life in General, Slowly Going to the Buffalo, Ever Passing Moment. Solid. Like as a 3-album run.
Yep.
Super solid.
I don't think I really listened to much after that.
Yeah.
Are they still making records? Or
They're still doing stuff. They're
not-
doing songs and, you know, they fly out for weekends and that kind of thing.
That's kind of cool.
But, you know, they had a new song. Remember they remastered the Tony Hawk
Yeah.
Pro Skater games. There was a new MXPX song on that. It's a good song.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's called Let's
I
Ride.
started playing that
so
game
fun.
during COVID. I
Yeah.
loved it.
Tori and I got it for my birthday a couple years ago.
It's still a fun game.
Any other trios?
Not that I can think
Violent
of.
Femmes.
Oh yeah. Did Frank have a story about them?
Well, I was asking him. They have a song. My favorite Violent Femmes song is called "I Held Her in My Arms," and there's a lyric where he says, "I was with a girl, but it felt like I was with a boy." And you hear that a certain way nowadays because of the current happening conversations about gender and that kind of thing. But when you realize this song was written probably in like the late 80s, I was asking Frank, like, what do you think that lyric meant? And his takeaway was he thought it meant that it was about the build of this woman he was with, that she was probably really skinny and tall.
Oh.
And I thought maybe it meant that she was fairly aggressive.
Oh.
Because again, I think sexual aggression at the time would have been considered to be a male attribute. So I was with a girl, but it felt like I was with a boy. Alkaline Trio does a great cover of that song.
Oh, interesting.
Indeed.
Alkaline Trio.
Alkaline Trio. So good.
All
right.
Oh, what other topics do we have this week? Any grievances?
There's this fucking Burger King ad. Do you know this ad?
I don't watch
The
television.
what?
The really bad song in it?
Uh-huh.
Yep, I know
I'm
exactly
so
what you're talking about.
Fucking okay. I'm gonna play it, and you can edit out the audio.
Okay, I'm gonna have to, because I don't think.
But you need to hear this song. Bad commercials. This is a good grievance. Bad, unfunny commercials make me so mad because I know that the world is full of like comedians and musicians desperate for work that would be cheaper than the Madison Avenue dipshit that you paid to come up with this fucking garbage.
That's the thing about advertising in the U.S. They take zero risk, and everybody is offended by everything. So it's always going to be fucking boring or really stupid. It's never going to be good.
Right. But dude, this ad
It's bad.
and this song, you will think is like a parody of a commercial. Are you ready?
Yep, just marking time so I can.
All right, here we go.
Okay. Enough.
Is that not the goddamn word? I mute it. I lunge for the remote because during football games.
First thing.
You see ads.
First thing, I thought Wesley Willis died. Is he alive? Because it sounds like.
Rock
and roll McDonald's. Rock and roll McDonald's.
And here's this. And tag them in this. Burger King. We'll get you a song.
You want a fucking song? We'll fucking.
And
write
it'll
you
be
a song.
cheap. Not free, but cheaper than that one was and better. Like,
Oh, I got a story for you.
oh.
So, speaking of Burger King, you guys so Adam, did you go to Appleton? Where did you go to school?
North. Appleton North.
And you went to Kakana, right? Do you remember that band, punk band from back in the day called Antifreeze?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So in
John.
college, in music theory class, one of the guys that was in my music theory class, his name was Don Swain. I don't know if either of you have ever met or heard of Don Swain.
Nope.
No.
Anyway, in 1999 or 2000, Burger King had a songwriting contest.
Ooh.
And a couple of guys from Antifreeze and Don wrote a song, and they had a party because it was going to get played on TV or whatever. And their song got clipped on the commercial. Oh. And full circle, that song was way better than that dog shit. Way better.
But it is like, it's so bad. Like all marketing is kind of bad and all commercials are kind of dumb. But then you hear that and I
one
mean,
takes
like
the
if you
cake.
watch a Packer game on we watch it through Hulu on just like whatever, Fox or whatever.
Yeah.
I probably see that commercial 7-8 times. And if you watch football all day on a Sunday, which I try to do, you might hear it 10-15 times. And it's the worst. And it's having
would
the opposite
rather-
effect. Like I'm mad at Burger King now. And I won't go there.
I won't go to Burger King anyway, but they slammed the door shut. I'm definitely not going there now. Like, I'm not going to do it. I would rather watch the Mandela Barnes. Over that fucking Whopper commercial.
Mandela Barnes wants to take away one of your feet. How are you supposed to work with just the 1 foot?
With 1 foot. Ron Johnson will make your dreams come true. A true patriot.
Tony Evers has a car, just like some pedophiles.
Do you want a pedophile car?
Coincidence?
No talk about policy or what you want to do.
Sometimes in Madison, people die. Where's Tony Evers?
Where's Tony Evers?
It's so stupid.
And then it's like, Tim Michaels will return us to glory.
Clouds part and Jesus being. There's people in the Bible named Tim.
And Michael. And you know what? That fucking shit would still work for the bass.
Tim Michaels had a job in a coal mine when he was 4. Just like your dad.
In Kentucky, where he was born. Definitely not Wisconsin, because he doesn't hardly spend any time here. Anyway.
Here's another thing, like with Facebook doing like the week of the election, we're not doing any ads. Does anybody with any meat between their ears think that there's anybody on the planet right now that hasn't already made up their mind?
Well, like I said, no, probably not. But what these ads are for is not to win votes. It's to fire up people to actually leave their house and go vote. So
not to convince you to vote for their guy, just to convince you to
fire
go
up your base.
vote for their guy.
It's all about firing up the base. It's not about getting new people.
Sure.
It's about firing up the dude that's, got his Tim Michaels sign outside of his Trump sign, outside of his fuck your feelings flag and whatever.
Fuck your feelings. Fuck your feelings. I didn't want to go to the dance anyways. Man, if you're not my real dad.
Man, if Coach would have put me in, we would have fucking taken state, brother. Anyway.
Oh, my current favorite. I saw one today in a yard that said, "Social justice begins in the womb."
Really?
And
That's
ends
what they're
the
calling it
second
now.
that bastard falls out. We're not going to educate it. We're not going to treat it with medicine. We're not going to feed it. Nothing.
Fuck you, food stamps. You're on your own.
Should have worked harder, you dumb baby.
Why don't they just put pre-unborn fetus on a sign and that's it?
There you go.
Because once it's out there, it's
Right.
fucking your problem.
Right. Jesus never said nothing about taking care of the poor and the sick. Not in my Bible.
Republican Jesus.
My Bible is just the book of Revelations with a sticker on the cover that said God hates queers.
Pick up your fucking bootstraps, boy. Fucking Republican Jesus ain't here to help you.
Right.
Socialism, fuck that.
It's just funny, like the
Money
cognitive
changers, give me
dissonance
that.
and the hypocrisy. Like, because one of the thing, like the pushes against Mandela Barnes is that he comes from money. Apparently, he denies it. I don't know what to think, because he's very believable the way he puts away that milk. So like, but they say like, he's got wealthy parents who bought him a condo and he had an allowance until he was 40. But these are the people that voted for Trump.
Yep.
Like,
They'll never fucking
Like,
see
Literally
it.
the guy who's
we're-
handed $1 billion.
like they did
They went bankrupt with it.
Or didn't
they
Ron
did a
Johnson
study
marry
that
into
if
money?
Donald Trump had taken all of that money and just put it in a savings
Put
account,
it into a savings account.
he would have ended up with
More money.
than he did by trying to like
Throw
put
it
it
in
to
a
work.
fucking CD, man.
Yep. Throw it in a fucking box.
Yeah.
And put the box under your bed and just
Put it in a
shut
money
up for
market
minute.
account and let it sit for a while. Still would have been better off. I was trying to think of another grievance that I had this week, but my grievances are mostly just Packer related. But outside of that, I try to be a much happier person.
Same. I'm working on that. As you get older.
And it's like when we had Fox, I started to give less fucks about things, and then I started to really care more about things because I'm like, fuck, I have a kid too, so it's like this weird ramp. And then
I've read a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah, I have read that.
It's good, but
It is
he
good.
says it's not about not giving a fuck. It's about giving all of your fucks
To the
to
things-
a few very important things,
Right.
and not wasting them.
Yeah,
Enjoyed that book.
yeah. That was a pretty good book.
Tua played last night.
He did.
Did you hear Joe Burrow's thing too? Joe Burrow did an interview and he said there's been probably a handful of games where I took a hit and did not remember the rest of the game.
That happened to me in high school.
Do you think you would let Fox play football?
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay. Tori and I Ollie never really he's played in the yard with his friends and he and I play catch all the time, but he's more musical
not playing
theater
football.
kid. Yeah.
He'll play flag football,
Sure.
but he's not going to play it now.
Seeing that Tua thing live on TV, I thought he was dying.
Dude, I fucking lived football. I
Horrifying.
lived the whole process. And nobody gave a fuck. No one knew how to diagnose concussions.
You were told just put your head
I had
down
a
and
handful.
run as hard as you can.
For sure, a handful. One in particular, which is I have video evidence of,
Yeah.
is I was on the kick return team, and I was in the middle wedge, so the returner was behind us, and then I was in the group of 4 that you have to block up so they can find a hole to run through. Well, I seriously had 2 dudes hit me and fully deplete me, and when I snapped out of it, our kick returner was celebrating the touchdown.
Because they say
So I lost 3 or 4 seconds.
it's the ground that really gets you.
Yeah.
It's the helmet is bad, but it's really you bouncing your head off the
What's
ground.
even fucking weirder? I kicked the extra point. Don't remember that.
You were kicking?
Well, it's small school. I had to
Amongst
do
other
everything.
things, yeah.
Caught the game-stealing interception. Don't remember that.
Wow.
I remember snapping out of it a little bit when I looked up and I saw the touchdown, and I knew I had to do extra point. And then I got the interception. It was at HorrorCon, which is by Fond du Lac.
Yeah. You've played there.
And then our coach came up and said, "Hey, great game today," in the locker room. And I remember thinking,
And you are?
I remember thinking, "Thanks." And I'm like, what did I do? I literally didn't remember until I was just so foggy until the next day. And I mean, fuck, I didn't. I'm gonna go back to practice on Monday.
Do you think at some point it will affect the future of football? How many more of those
Nope.
Tua
Nope.
instances do you think you can have?
They happen all the time, and there's too much money in it.
Tua is different though.
Not much, man. You don't get mildly pregnant you don't have a mild concussion.
Right. I'm saying that second where he started having a seizure on the field.
Dude, yeah,
that was horrifying.
Who had one 4 or 5 years ago? Somebody had one, and they fucking went in the game after that. It was somebody clipped it from, I think it was a Texans quarterback.
Yeah.
That happened too. But no, I mean, there's too much money in it. Well, and here's the thing: there's risks that you take in your life at every single thing that you do.
Sure.
When you sign up for football, you assume the risks. So you have to understand what it does to your body. And now we actually at least have more information than they used to when I fucking played, to make a better informed decision of maybe this isn't the sport that I want to go into. Maybe I want to do a different sport.
Hey, this beverage holder here is from a company called Grounds and Hounds. And they have great coffee that you can get on the internet.
Oh.
And a portion of the proceeds go to benefit shelters and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Their motto is sip coffee, save pups, rub bellies. Grounds and Hounds. Recommendation.
Speaking of similar animal rescue initiatives, I bumped into Jillian on Saturday. She is going to start ramping up and helping foster kittens again.
Nice.
After she took a break doing that. So I told her, I'm like, well, we might have to call you into the podcast and talk about how you're doing that.
Sure.
And how you're helping with the local animal shelters. Because that's
coffee
a
shop.
fucking great thing.
Have you been to the coffee shop?
I haven't, but I've heard it's pretty cool.
It's fun. Do you know about this?
It's over,
good stuff.
over by
I've been
Weemeraki and
The New York Deli.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, they got a good sandwich there.
New York Deli.
Oh, God. It's all really fresh and good and nice. They got a buffalo chicken wrap. Knock your socks off. They got an Asian chicken wrap that'll put you down like Tua. It's so... Oh, I was twitching and... they got a Reuben there.
Season up.
When that sauce hits, you just... Oh, yeah. I finished Dahmer. Thus
Did you?
the voice.
Yeah.
It was good.
I didn't notice that much of
Oh, I
just
noticed
the
it.
super over the top.
Have you guys watched Fargo, the show, though?
I have not watched the show.
So
I know you like it. I
good.
love the movie.
Oh, it is really, really good. Really,
Yeah.
really good.
I have a theory, and you and I talked about this off camera, but I have a theory about Dahmer that also relates to that Joker movie that Joaquin Phoenix made. And before it came out, everyone was all upset. They're like, it's too violent and it's awful. And then you see it, and it's just not. he kills like 3 people and 2 of them kind of had it coming. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
So he kills those 2 guys on the Joker.
Oh, okay.
He kills those 2 people on the subway that are harassing that lady, and like fine. And then he kills De Niro. Spoilers.
Well, he killed the one that got me. He killed that guy in his apartment, like smashed his head against the wall a bunch of times.
Again, not a good guy.
Right.
But the thing is, that movie was not that horrifically violent. What I think the problem was, and what people resisted, is that it made you sort of feel bad for him and sort of kind of understand him a little bit. And that made people uncomfortable. And I think Dahmer does the same thing. Where like, you sort of get like, he's not the devil that just came out of nowhere. Like he went through a process and was sort of failed a handful of times. And again, not a good guy. Let's not make excuses for him. You know, I'm a hot take. Don't eat people.
Don't eat people.
Especially if you got a New York deli around. That could be their slogan. Don't eat people. We got a rap. Oh, buddy.
Oh, baby.
But I'm saying like, there were moments where you did kind of, if not feel bad for him, you kind of understood. They humanized him.
Yeah.
And I don't think people like that. They don't like when the bad guys humanize. That's why Michael Myers is so sexy.
Well, see, that's
You don't know
why
shit about him.
I got the opposite from it.
He's sexy.
He's tall and muscular.
Ooh.
Who looks better in coveralls, dude? Nobody.
Me.
Oh. You were saying so.
Oh, I got the opposite from it. Like when he's like talking to his dad and stepmom in the restaurant, and he's trying to tell them what's going on, or I'm having these feelings. Yeah, those are the moments where like, okay.
And
like,
they shut him up because his dad thinks he's trying to talk about being gay.
That's right. Yeah.
And the dad's like, let's not talk about it, Jeff.
But I think he just got an
Don't
overall.
go eating people, Jeff.
He got an overall cockiness about him that like, fuck this guy. Like he's not only just a fucking douchebag, but he's awful.
Sure, shooting did seem like the Milwaukee PD was the real villains, though, didn't it?
Well, they
damn.
in the
What would you do if you opened a fridge and there's a pizza with a bunch of noses on it?
Domino's Pizza.
Domino's Pizza.
but the when they were talking about going back to the station to be deloused, that was from an actual police call. They took that actual line.
Oof.
It's like,
Not good, dude.
Not
That
great.
reminds me of Super Troopers when Farva gets in there.
It's a much different film.
The delousing was so unnecessary. The lice hate the powdered sugar. It's delicious. Good.
Hey, Farber, what's that place you like? All the goofy shit on the walls?
Shenanigans?
Oh.
Oh my
That
god.
movie
It's so
might
good.
be like the dumbest movie that's ever held up.
It still holds up.
For
It's
sure.
Still fucking good. As is the sequel.
I've
It's
never
so
seen the
good.
sequel.
I haven't either.
But like a lot of those, they sort of wear off over time.
I watched all of the Broken Lizard movies recently.
What else is there?
Club Dread is pretty bad,
Oh, I haven't seen
but
it.
it's supposed to be bad.
Okay, what else?
Have you seen Club Dread?
No.
It's their like horror movie that they put together.
It's a comedy still.
It's a comedy horror movie. It's supposed to be done. The Slammin' Salmon came out. It was about like a salmon restaurant. Like it's okay. It's not as good. But they also did like a bunch. I think they co-wrote Strange Wilderness. Did you guys like that one? That
Didn't
movie
see
is
it.
I
so
never
good.
saw it.
Strange Wilderness. It's good. Steve Zahn is the main character.
I do like Steve Zahn.
He's pretty good.
Joyride. Candy
But I didn't know that
cane.
like Chandra Sekhar.
Chandra Sekhar.
Yeah. He co-wrote like a whole shitload of Arrested Development episodes.
Yeah, yeah. He directs a lot of stuff too.
He was involved in a handful of Office episodes and a bunch of
Yep.
Parks and Rec episodes.
Yep.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like I had no idea.
Yeah.
He's a huge Bear fan, and I always cock off to him on Twitter. But you know, he never responds. So I guess fuck that guy.
He's probably busy.
He's probably busy. But it's funny how much comedy's apparently Tacoma FD, their show, is really, really funny.
Yeah.
And it's got most of the characters. Farva is in there, which has got to be good then. But
Don't
Club Dread
spit
is-
in that cop's burger.
Don't spit it. It's for a cop.
What the fuck does that mean? You gonna spit in it?
No. Does that look like spit to you? Ah, fuck it. I don't want a large farva. I don't want a large farva. I want a goddamn liter of cola. Well, they make a joke of that when they're in Super Troopers 2, and they're in Canada. And he's like, would you like a liter of cola? He's like, you guys hear that? Got a fucking liter of cola. He's like, how many do I got to drink? It's like, anyway, you got to watch it.
Here's one you had left, and me, Adam, and Frank last week were talking about this on the topic of like weird movie stuff and tragedy. I'm not making fun. Alec Baldwin accidentally, I believe, killed that lady.
Yeah.
They've settled and are going to resume filming.
Well,
they made the dead woman, they made her husband a producer.
Oh.
And now they're going to finish the movie and it's going to like come out. And do you think they'll keep that scene in? Because I guess what happened was there's a scene where he points a gun at the camera and they had been shooting like cans earlier.
Sure.
And there was it sounds like, if we're to believe the best of people, and why not, it was an accident.
It is Alec Baldwin.
But do you think anyone's going to be able to watch that?
I mean,
not without thinking about that.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
well,
Absolutely not.
I mean, I remember the same thing when The Crow came out.
That you can't watch it without thinking about how sexy Brandon Lee is, right?
Right. And that he also got shot. And apparently it was the scene. Have you guys seen The Crow? Or do you remember The Crow now?
Oh, yeah.
So
I went through a goth phase.
There's that scene where they flash back to his death where he gets shot and then pushed out the window.
Yeah.
Like, apparently that's when he actually got shot. I don't know if that's what clip they used.
Well, I think it's illegal. You can't
show somebody
actually
show
real
dying.
people dying.
Well, and I think for his case, it was like a piece of shrapnel that was like left in the gun. It wasn't an actual bullet.
Oh, sure.
But it still was enough to pierce whatever.
I just can't imagine like anybody involved. Like, what's morale like on that movie set, first of all?
I think they got everything filmed already, and then they shut it down and then just took what they had and made The Crow. I don't think they kept filming it.
Oh, I'm talking about, it's called Rust, the Alec Baldwin one.
Yeah.
Like, how's that even work? And then like,
It'd be weird.
yeah, it's wild. I want to know what band was at Life Fest.
I'll tell you after.
Okay. Don't let me forget to find out.
I'll tell you after. Not very Christian. Things going on after.
That happened a lot.
You know,
Probably. You know the two genres that had the most like Caligula-esque sexual shenanigans was Christian rock and those super sensy boy emo bands were just plowing through ass backstage.
Oh, yeah.
They go on stage with their sweaters with the collar underneath them. She's so sad and I miss her so much. And then just boof.
Literally boof. Probably some fluffing and boofing.
So bad.
But anyway, if you've got a guest or a guest idea, feel free to message us on Facebook or through our email address or whatever, and we'll try to get you on here.
Do we have an email address?
I forgot what it is, but yes. newoldpod@gmail.com.
Gmail.
Gmail. I'll put it up on the screen.
newoldpod@gmail.com.
But thank you for the tens of viewers who continue to watch us.
I don't
Because
know why
I've
they're
gotten a lot of
doing it.
compliments on people who have been watching our show, which is good.
Yeah.
Probably more. Never mind. No. And also, this is the last podcast we'll have where Vic Ferrari's a band. Celebrations are in order. All right, I'll probably cut that. I don't care.
We just cut to this.
It's fucking 2-minute podcast. That's it today.
Oh.
Anywho, if you guys got nothing, Adam, any last words? Any final thoughts? Any grievances? We don't really have any grievances this week.
We did the Burger King commercial.
We did the Burger.
That was a really good one. I think we all agreed very hopefully on that one.
When we're all on the same page, it's called an grievance.
An grievance? A grievance. I like it. What is next? Oh, next week is Halloween. I don't know. We'll have to see if we can do podcasts because I don't know if we're going to trick or treat.
We are, so I can't.
Okay. So then what we'll have to do is we'll wear costumes the following week.
Sure.
Part of late Halloween.
I'm into it. Okay. Yeah, I like late Halloween because you're always sad when it's over, but there's always candy left.
Oh, there sure
Wear my
is.
unicorn costume. That's what I'm going to do. Next podcast, we wear costumes. That's what we're going to do.
It's so hard to plan stuff, isn't it? You ever like think about when you were a kid and like you didn't even understand the concept of planning? You just ran out the door, like bumped into people.
All I did was hope, well, I'm going to get a hold of somebody today or somebody's going to call me. And
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go do that thing.
It's exhausting to try to plan shit now. Because you also have to worry, well, you know, with the wife and the kid and they got stuff going on.
I think it's more exhausting to uphold plans.
It's exhausting.
It's very, at times, it's very nice when people call and cancel.
Fuck it. I love when people cancel meetings and it's still on my calendar. Anyway, enough about that. You good?
I think so.
Good?
Sure. Yeah.
3, 2, 1.